a couple months ago, you all know that I did the sketchbook slam. I got a comment because of a little comment that I made myself. One of the things I said when I was doing the sketchbook slam is that I wanted to break out of the habit of using construction lines. But then I got a comment on one of the videos saying, like, due to the fact that I'm a realistic artist, that I should always use construction lines. So that got me thinking that this would be a really good topic to talk about, construction lines. Like, when should you use them? When should you not use them? Like, what exactly what's the point of construction lines, really? So I thought it'd be a good discussion. When I was younger, I really hated construction lines. I hated construction lines with a passion. I didn't want to use them because to me, I felt like that was me being lazy. Like, if I really wanted to learn how to draw, I don't need these stupid lines to help me learn. But as I got older and every YouTube tutorial I ever saw, they all wanted you to use construction lines. I finally gave them a try. And they improved my artist surplus, of course, because construction lines are a good thing. But when do they become a bad thing is the real question. I've been using construction lines ever since, that day I started using them. And recently I started to try to break the habit of slowly transitioning to not using them as much. Because at least in my opinion, you should not always use construction lines. I feel like construction lines is something for when you're a beginner. You use them heavily to help you learn how to complete that subject, and once you have practically mastered it, I feel like you should eventually start to transition out of using construction lines. I've gotten two comments when it comes to construction lines. I've heard the side of you should always use them because you're a realistic artist, and I've also heard the side of you shouldn't use construction line because you're a realist. You should stop using construction lines if you want to be good. And for me, I feel like I agree with both sides of that story. You should not always use construction lines because, you shouldn't have to draw 7 heads to make sure your character or person is tall enough, the right size. You should get to a point where you're able to draw the characters, draw people without having to use these little measurements every single time. Eventually, everyone has to come to that point. So, I think that eventually, when you become a good enough artist, that you should stop using construction lines as often. And I feel like they end up becoming a habit once you've been using it for so long. Breaking out of using construction lines is a good thing, and it's really hard to do. When I started doing the sketchbook slam, that was one of my biggest problems, was not using construction lines. Ever since that day I decided to start using them, I have always used them ever since, and I didn't want to anymore. I've watched one of my closest friends both not use construction lines. They'll do the cross thing in the front, but I have a friend who she draws in pen a lot, and she never uses construction lines, and her drawings are great. I want to draw like that too. Like, I want to be able to draw in pen, and that was one of my main reasons on why I did the sketchbook slam, is I want to draw in pen. I want to not have to have the stupid cross in the middle for the face, having to draw the circle so I can connect the jaw and make sure the head is the right shape. I wanted to be able to draw it without using it. I didn't want to have to rely on construction lines my whole artist career. So really, I want to know what your guys' opinion is when it comes to construction lines, because for me, I feel like construction lines are good, and both good and bad, that you should eventually transition out of using them or out of relying on them. I'm not saying to never use them ever again, but I'm saying that as you become a better artist, that you should use them less and less. I still do the whole face cross. I don't do the circle anymore to make it. I can make a head without having to do the stupid little circle, but I still use the cross to make sure I can, have the face looking right. But I think that's the only construction lines I use now, ever since I did the sketchbook slam. Before, I really, really depended on construction lines. And now I'm glad that I slightly broke out of the habit of it. I'm glad I'm starting to transition into the fact of being able to not rely on them. I just decided, I don't know, I wanted to talk about construction lines. I know you guys are all waiting for me to post my new video or animation, and I want to talk a little bit about that too. One of the reasons I haven't posted the animation yet is, man, I've never animated, and doing animation is a new thing for me. Actually, even drawing on a tablet is still completely new. I've always been a traditional artist, and getting used to drawing on a tablet is kind of different. I gotta like test the waters. That's why in this speed paint, you could see my technique on coloring is not so well. And do not comment your technique is horrible, because I've actually, from this point, I've already found a new, better technique to like color. But this was a while ago. This was actually my first speed digital painting. I mean, kind of, because I really did. I just traced over a traditional drawing. I'm still trying to get used to doing digitally, and that's why it's taking me so long to do an animation, is I kind of suck. But hopefully I can get at least a different animation, not the car accident one, because the car accident one takes a lot of work. It's like making a baby read a chapter book. I'm not ready to do this extreme animation, because I gotta show like exactly how the car hit and all this different stuff, and it's difficult. So I might do an actual smaller animation first to test the waters, and then I'm gonna probably eventually post the car accident one eventually, but we'll see how that goes. I gotta see. Yeah, I thought I would just talk about construction lines, and you guys can watch me draw this drawing of Tigger, one of my OCs. I was originally just gonna put this out with just music in the background, but I realized that that's kind of weird since he's my OC. I mean, it'd be different. I was drawing like a fan art of something, but he's my OC, so it's not like anybody really knows who he is. But I'll see you guys later. Tell me what you think, or tell me what your opinion, what your view is when it comes to construction lines. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.